We can celebrate the Kansas City defense, Stugotz, because I don't believe that they allowed much of anything in the second half in the playoffs, like anything.
They gave up 10 points to Lamar at home.
But in the second half of all of these games, winning time, that defense gave up nothing. But what Patrick Mahomes got this year that was the staple of what made Brady, Stugotz, beyond just winning, like obviously winning by itself,
right,
is something that is enduring and echoing. But winning when we don't understand how you're winning. Winning when we question everything that's in your huddle and you're still winning the game. The stratosphere that Mahomes is now entered, Stugotz, and maybe he was here before this game, you tell me, right? Because Brock Purdy will still have to do it at the end of memorable games for us to believe that Brock Purdy is as good as some people think he is.
Sure.
But I think what Mahomes now solidified, maybe he did it in 13 seconds against Buffalo, but now he's in the place. Don't leave him time and the football at the end of the game. You're going to lose.
Any amount of time.
Okay, but that's not something we're doing with very many of them, Stugotz.
No.
Ever. Never mind in today's game. When you have America watching the television and America's saying, I don't trust any of the guys in that huddle with him. The wide receivers don't even need to have hands. I don't trust anybody but Kelsey with him. And all of America is watching its television as Purdy fails on 3rd and short from the goal line, and everyone's going, you just left him the game. You can't leave that guy the game when he's got 4 downs to get the first down. And he's the leading rusher,
right.
and he's going to do it all by himself. I know he had some of this, but he's golden now. Like, I know he had plenty of people fearing you don't leave him time at the end of the game, but he's golden forever now. You don't give him the football at the end.
He has checked off just about everything you need to check off on the checklist. He's done it on the road. He's done it in the Super Bowl. He's won MVPs. He's trailed by 7 or more points. He's done everything except beat Tom Brady.
It felt like what Dan used to say with the big three. There's nothing better in sports than seeing them down late.
Right.
I want him down with the ball.
It's great.
Needing to score.
He's
the best.
Great, yeah. By the way, team scored in the second half in 3 of the 4 playoff games against the Chiefs defense.
How many points?
Not a lot, but they scored in the second half.
What is the total number of points allowed by the Chiefs in all of the playoff games in the second half and overtime, counting what was yesterday's what?
They gave up 12 yesterday, 3 to the Ravens, and I'll have to look at the other games.
Okay, but is it even 20 points that they've given up?
I know Buffalo scored at least a touchdown in that second half. The defense is great. They're overwhelming, and they are great.
Bruce Feldman sent out a tweet. They obviously played the Dolphins. They played the Bills. They played the Ravens and the 49ers. Kansas City only allowed 4 plays of 25 yards or more the entire postseason.
Jeez.
Well, that game yesterday, I know that because it went into overtime and because of the second half, we will remember it forever as a great game. But there was one giant chunk yardage play in that game, and only one. It was Hardman. And everything else, like you got 20 yards. Here's what was interesting about that game, Stugotz, in terms of offensively. I think both teams averaged near 7 yards per play. But it was only 7 yards on every goddamn play. Because it wasn't, they had like 4 or 5 20-yard plays in the game and everything else. In fact, the way that Mahomes was doing it is an unusual way for him to do it, although he's had to do it that way since Tyreek Hill left. It was always 6 and 7 yards at a time. It was all dump downs. You weren't going to get a turnover off of him late in that game. It was all 4 and 5 yards to everybody because they'd take away everything that was deep and dare Mahomes to go down the field 7 yards at a time, and he did.
You had Harbin with the 52-yard catch. You had Justin Watson. He had a 25-yard catch, and Kelsey had a 22-yard catch. But Mahomes has been doing it differently this year than he has been in years past all year long.
Yes.
It's been screen passes.
Since Tyreek Hill left, and even at the end with Tyreek Hill, they were taking away some of the 70-yard stuff in order to make him play this way.
And I thought him being able to use his feet to get first downs when it looked like their offense was completely stalling in the second half made such a big difference too, and was probably the reason that they were able to score.
It was the difference between the quarterbacks. It was the difference between the quarterbacks in the game. One of them was also the leading rusher.
Also, that turnover on the punt. I mean, that was that changed the game around, right? They scored a touchdown, the Chiefs did. The offense got some momentum.
The
and
first
then
touchdown, yeah.
That fourth down call was so ballsy, too, because if that DN stays with Mahomes, it's over.
I mean, San Francisco had a pretty ballsy fourth down call as well.
Really?